Okay, here we go.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 139 of CMD Towers Brews and Builds. I'm
Damn
MrCombo 5
it.
and my fellow host, BigTuck. What's a crack-a-lackin'?
What is up? Hold on. I thought we were on 138, but I'm wrong. I also have to say hello, cats and kittens, or should I say Golgari kings and queens?
Ooh.
Okay, so we're done with the accents, right? We're done with that.
Yes.
So I am still seeing the row coach. She was on track to be Olympian athlete. We did in fact make out in her parking lot yesterday, which is solid. In her dog watch. But then also, I know we're not doing the accent work anymore. So I have two things I wanted to say. One, can you recognize this accent from your favorite 1960s sitcom? Oh, Lucy, you burned a hole in my shirt again because the iron was too hard. Ah.
Are you trying to be Rookie Ricardo?
Yeah.
That was bad.
That's bad.
That was bad. It's more like,
bad.
Lucy, you burned another hole in my shirt.
That's so good. That's not fair. Okay. So the other one was this. I'm back. So row coach, if you're listening, turn it off. I'm still on the dating websites, and I like kind of use, there's a few, like those things that girls put up in their walls. That's like, the kitchens are for dancing, or like live, laugh, love.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So on this, there's this new voice prompts section, right?
Okay.
Of like, so this girl's mantra of life was life is what happens between coffee and wine. And I was like, that is real dumb. But she liked me. So I was like, okay, I'll run this out. So this is why I said, do you know how your mantra is spoken in France? Was my response to her liking me, right?
Okay.
And she said, I do not, please tell. So are you ready? This is legit word for word what I wrote.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, mademoiselle, but of course, we say that la vie is what happens between the cigarette and the champagne. And then in the distance, accordion music in like brackets. Pretty good, right?
It's all right. What'd she say, though?
She said, ha ha, love it. I haven't heard from her since, so...
Yeah, I think that should answer the quality. I mean, you had a good path. It's just, maybe it could have been, life is what happens between croissant and cigarettes. Something like
I can't. So the best part of this is like your version of doing this live is better than the one that I sat and like meticulated and wrote myself. Like your accent work live. The best one, for those who don't know, MrCombo and I know us for a long time. There was a run there where MrCombo lived in the trash city of Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hot trash.
We all have fond memories of that. Oh, God. Okay. We're not going to tell all the stories of that weekend because they
Absolutely
don't shine.
Not.
Yeah. So we're going to pass on right past this. But the best part was we're hungover, and MrCombo took us to what Memphis is best known for, a Chinese restaurant. It was like an all-you-can-eat. And then this is back when I was still like a pack-a-week smoker. So I remember just sitting outside, just feeling like a pile of garbage in a pail, and just smoking a cigarette. And then all of a sudden you hear like footsteps behind me. I turn, MrCombo standing there with his shades on, like full chest. He just goes, "C'est la vie," and then walks to his car. No other questions asked. It was absolutely incredible. So
I wish I remembered that. Absolutely do not.
Look, I think it's probably for the better that we don't remember that week.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm doing great, as you can imagine. How are you doing? It's an off night recording, which I respect you doing. I know this is off for you, so
yeah, no, it's all good. And honestly, it's not too bad because, unfortunately, Collective, we had some scheduling conflicts. So you may or may not be getting where in the Multiverse is Fblthp this most recent Wednesday. It might be coming out sometime this weekend. But so I'm a little, I'm not super tired from like recording last night. I'm just like mentally drained. And at one point, like today, a super busy day, but I'm looking around and I just got this feeling like I saw just like piles of just junk that is just like, we're not a pack rat, but it's just like we're very untidy. And I just saw this and I just got this feeling inside of just like, you know what? F this. I need to freaking get all of this
Just
out.
get out of it. Get it out.
I almost kind of went into like this manic phase. Like I got a bunch of crap. Right? Yeah, I got a bunch of crap out of my office. I finally like took the time and deconstructed our partner non-partner decks to put them into the other 30 decks I had to deconstruct to make that monstrosity. Did it with the one I built from my cube. Deconstructed that, put everything back in its like deals. So it's just like I did all of these things, which felt good. It was just like I'm so tired, but I know I couldn't go to sleep right now, which is
is your table
thing.
Cleared off? Your downstairs table that you're on?
I mean, I got like the normal magic stuff down here. Yeah. But yeah, no, pretty much no cards. I mean, I just got these basics from my cube deck that I built that I just need to unsleeve. But yeah, no, I mean, pretty much everything's cleared off of here. I need to do a little bit over to my right side and quite a bit on the left, but it's a little difficult because I got a freaking large screen TV sitting on my couch.
You still have that down in the basement?
Yeah, well, what am I supposed to do with it?
I thought you were moving that outside.
Well, so I talked with the Godfather because he just moved into a place. I actually need to offer, because I just thought of this. I was like, maybe I just give him the outside TV and I move this one there because that outside TV is probably a decade old.
And like, that's the one in the box, right?
Yep.
It's in that container. Okay, cool.
Yep. So no one can ever say what's in the box because it's like, oh, it's an LG TV.
What's in the box?
But yeah, no, I was thinking about just giving him that one because I could probably only get $100 for it, and for that, I just let him have it. And maybe I'll move that one out there. So that actually is a thought that's kind of come up here in the last day or so. I just got to make sure it'll fit because this TV is bigger than that one. So
he did also send me a picture of that rug that you guys got. It is.
Oh yeah,
that's a hot rug,
dude. That's a hot collective pink Persian rug. Sick.
Also, no offense, that pool table also looked amazing. Did that work out? Did that work out or no?
The Godfather. It's whenever the wind blows the right way.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair points.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. And something that really helps out our channel is if you could support us via our Patreon, patreon.com/CMDTower. 4 different tiers, lots of different things that we get you guys interacted with our channel. Plus, depending on the tier, you might actually get swag from us. So definitely appreciate it. Even if you just do the $1 or $5 tier, that seriously goes a long way. Patreon.com/CMDTower. And a great thing is once you join, if you have some friends that you want to refer, we do have a referral program. So anytime you have someone join, you just have them shoot us a message and we'll hook you up with some free swag. You just got to hit us up and let us know because let's be honest, Patreon isn't that sophisticated. And granted, 90% of you jerks out there don't even look at your Patreons. I'm posting messages, sending you stuff. I don't get responses 6 months later. Oh, sorry, MrCombo. I didn't check my Patreon, you SOB. And yes, I'm still acting like we're on video, even though I know we're not, just to show them.
It's for us, right? Like it's a theatric thing, right? Like I'm here for it.
There you go. Now we do have a great store. Possibly, if you have issues, message us because the site's under attack right now. Not by Russia, but possibly by cmbauer.com.
Bam.
But cmdtower.com/merch. We have foil play mats. We have metal tokens. We have coins on there. Whole bunch of stuff that could really help accentuate your play group and your play style. So definitely hit it up. cmdtower.com/merch. And we do have a new partnership with abyssproxyshop.com. Code CMDTower for 10% off your order. It is combo with all the other discounts they have, and it's kind of cool. You guys are hearing this a week later, so maybe it'll be live now. But he actually hit me up on IG this morning and said, hey, I want to do a giveaway with you guys. You know, just let me know what you would like. And I was like, oh, that's freaking sweet. So yeah, Tuck, you and I, we're going to have to put our heads together and figure out, like 3-4 cards and arts that we think would be really, really cool. I kind of thought, since they are coming out with Secret Layers Lord of the Rings, what if we did Lord of the Rings based off of actual cards that people have printed, not fictitious nonsense that doesn't exist, or even the Warhammer 40,000 or whatever?
Yeah,
that might be kind of cool.
That sounds pretty okay. Yeah, I'm thinking already. Yeah, that's absolutely attainable. Absolutely.
Well, guys, and of course, if you guys can't help us out through our partnerships, our Patreon, or even our merchandise website, just share the content you're watching. Whether it be on Twitch when we do our twice a month streams, the content that we put out twice a week from an audio perspective, because literally every little bit of interaction from you, the collective, does help. So Brews and Builds is our deck tech series. Since we conquered the path to 32, tackled tons of EDH themes, we're going to be discussing, or rather, theory crafting, a new deck that doesn't even exist yet. Each month will consist of new decks, and we correlate how these decks are constructed similar to how beer is brewed. So we broke it down to 4 different categories. The first is, how do you ramp and set up your board state for the game? We're going to call that grains.
And grains are the foundation of any beer. They include both base malts and specialty malts, usually in about a 60-40 ratio. This helps with the color, the taste, most importantly, the alcohol content of the beer. Decks always use ways to grow, stabilize, and ramp your bigger threats. And just like a grain profile, they're usually a mix of staples and specialty cards.
How does your board interact with all of your opponents? We call that hops.
And hops give the beer its patented bitterness and herbal floral flavors. They grow in a variety of strands and help distinguish subcategories like IPAs. Our hop choices help clear interact with the board so your deck can ultimately do what it wants.
How does the deck close out, win the game, or in this deck's case, make your opponents concede? We call that yeast.
Oh, no, mon frere. Oh, no, mon frere. We are going to end this game with a combo. Yeast are microorganisms that, yes, eat the sugar from the grain, poop out alcohol and CO2. It adds to the alcohol content and the carbonation. Without the yeast, you'd be drinking flat sugar water, and without yeast cards, your deck would meet the goal of actually winning the game.
And then we do have a fun area where you can put in your pet cards, kind of weird synergies into the deck that are just kind of fun. We correlate that to spice.
Not every beer has them, and certainly this Miller Lite Tall Boy, one of 2 I'll be drinking on the podcast, has them. But spices or additives help separate a normal stock beer from a specialty one. It could be the pepper that turns us out into jalapeno stout, or the addition of nothing that turns us into a Miller Lite. Not every deck has something that makes it pop, but if this does, this is where we're talking about it. I feel like I'm really channeling Squee McGee here with my light beer in a giant can.
Jeez.
It feels good.
Does it? Because usually I feel like you do a little bit better quality beer, but that's a discussion for another day.
Listen, I have one more thing before any further ado. I was drinking high quality beers and a Red Robin by myself while my car was getting repaired in the suburbs that didn't have a Wi-Fi. That's what my day has been like. Moving right along.
So without further ado, let's get brewing. Today, we are theory crafting, guys, for myself, MrCombo number 5, because I need a new Golgari deck. So we're here talking Savra, Queen of the Solitaire, or Queen of the Golgari. BigTuck, why don't you read off the attributes of this card, and then I'll kind of talk about why I chose this for a theory craft.
Absolutely. So Savra, Queen of the Golgari, 2 colorless, black and a green for legendary creature of Shaman. Whenever you sacrifice a black creature, you may pay 2 life. If you do, each other player sacrifices a creature. And then whenever you sacrifice a green creature, you may gain 2 life. Around $3. It's gotten 2 printings, one of which is the sexy one with the Guilds of Ravnica guild kit moniker on it.
Nice. So the reason I thought about this deck is Tuck and I last week, I don't know if we actually did it on cast or pre-post, but we talked about my Golgari deck that was Hogak, that did transform into Pelucranos, and the jab was just kind of like, are you ever going to play it? Because I think it had been like a year since I had legitimately played that deck. So I did bust it out this last weekend.
Wait, no way, you did?
Yep, I forced myself to play it. I mean, I didn't win the game, but it was fine. I mean, it was just whatever. So I was looking at the Golgari commanders, and I saw Savra, and I started thinking, how much fun would it be for me to play solitaire? You know, who cares what my opponents are doing? I'm sitting here, this weird control shell. I just want to get to my win. But everyone hates that. Nobody likes being at a pod where someone's just playing with themselves. A, it's uncomfortable because that's a little, you should probably do that in the bathroom. But B, they also get bored. So I thought about it. Well, what if every time, like, what does Golgari do to get value? It's usually sacrificing creatures.
Absolutely.
For mana, to produce more creatures, to ramp. I mean, there's a litany of things. How cool would it be, as I'm playing solitaire, sacking my resources to gain more resources, just accidentally, all of my opponents just get screwed and have to sacrifice all their creatures. I think this is going to be a lot of fun for me. And I think it'll be fun for anyone who plays the deck, because I feel like this will be a very fun deck to play. I could imagine it'll suck for my opponents to play against.
So back when I was living back in the Optiver Legends day of Tice and the rest of the crew, we had a guy named John Coltrane drink. He had a deck like this, and I had so many picks from this, but it was like 4 years ago. It's brutal. It really is. And the funny part was, I was like, I think I know how this deck wants to work, and I especially know what sort of direction I want to go into. And I was watching videos onto it, just when I was like doing work, and like the day was like a big day of testing, which doesn't require a lot of thought, right? So it's just, you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. So I just had these videos on, and like the comments were always like, "Oh, underpowered. Oh, Savra's underpowered. Oh, well, it sucks because you should be playing Marin or Gerard or one of the other, like, I guess." But maybe these people never played against this. But when we played against John's deck, it was brutal, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of the same boat of the one we were talking about, Toshiro, though. This deck penalizes you for playing creatures, right? Which I think is fine, but I think because the life gain aspect is in and on it too, you end up on top every single time, right? So the way that he brewed it is like we're not talking about sacrificing only black or only green, both. If we can find ways to generate both of these things and get those on the battlefield, it's crippling, right? Sure. Okay, great. You kill my commander. Well, I'm already up 30 life. So what are you going to do? Attack me now? And I'm just going to kill your commander next turn. This is definitely, and this is what actually surprised me a little bit, was this is like your kind of commander through and through. Value train, your opponents, you don't have to do a whole lot on response, right? Like you don't have to hold up mana. You have your outlets and that sort of thing.
Yep.
I feel like you yourself will have more fun playing Savra than you will maybe any other Golgari commander that I can think of.
Possibly. And I mean, I just doing a quick Google, because here's the cool thing. Probably when John built it, a lot of this didn't exist. Now it does. Yeah. Green, black pests are everywhere. Sacrifice one of those. I'm gonna
stop you right there. Because that's all I have to say. I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yeah. So I'm personally not talking about any of them. I'm not going to name any cards, but there are a good handful, maybe close to 10 cards that are in Golgari that make these green black pests. And Tuck, you're absolutely right. It's how can we double up the value if possible?
Yeah.
There's some other cute things. I doubt you're talking about this, but like Painter Servant could be a very cute way. To kind of like, you can even go the direction of, what? My deck's going to make all green tokens. Put Painter Servant in there. He's the secret commander. Now everything can be black if I needed to on a flip of a stick. So I think there's just a lot of fun that you can go with this deck. Now, here's where I'm worried, because I am going to brew this. I am going to do it, because I have most of the shell probably around.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it'll be a lot like the partner non-partner, where maybe it's $50 and that gets the rest of the deck flushed out.
Yep.
I'm worried, though, that this deck could go into too many directions and it turns into a Loro, where I'm trying to sack stuff for mana. And also, I need sack engines to make tokens. And I also need sack engines to make you sack stuff. So it's double sack. I just think I'm going to have to figure out by the end of this episode what's maybe the two paths I want to go for sacrifice. Because you can't get too thin. Because if you get too many of those, you start to lose the things that make the creature so you actually can sacrifice.
Right, yeah. You slam in every single thing that says sacrifice a creature, and then you're like, well, I have 7 things. I have 7 things on board. I guess I sacrifice my commander and hope I can recast her, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I did take a peek on EDH Rec, right? And I was very surprised by this. 473 decks, period.
Yep.
Very low. And if we look at the breakdown, the average type distribution, 33 creatures. Yeah, okay. Maybe. 36 lands. 1 Planeswalker, which I'll be talking about. I think this could be a very Planeswalker heavy deck. 8 enchantments, 6 artifacts, 9 sorceries, 6 instants. What do you think about that from like a deck breakdown perspective?
So I think, for not offending anyone, a more novice deck builder, I do think you would go 30 plus creatures.
Yeah.
But I think if you're actually looking at this through some kind of experienced eyes, you realize you could probably go closer to 20 creatures, and it's just they are creating all of these tokens for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's a big thing that people may misread, because now, I mean, this card was printed back in what, like, I don't even
2005?
wait, really? Oh my God, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, back in there, like, people are probably like, oh, I should shy away from the non-token side of things, right? Like, or I should put more non-token sac effects in here. It's like, no, I argued the complete opposite, right? Like,
Yeah.
we are sacrificing tokens because she doesn't care about it.
Yep.
And the other thing last thing I want to say about how people are saying she's not strong, she's not whatever. It's a 4-drop commander in Golgari. Like,
Yeah.
that's not an impediment, right? Even if she dies 4 times, you're gonna be able to bring her out and win the game off it.
Yeah, the only thing I could see from a 2022 argument, almost 20 years ago, this card was designed.
Oh my God, yeah.
God, that makes you feel old. So here's the only thing I would say. If this was printed and designed today, I would hope it would at least be a 3/3 or a 3/4.
Oh,
The 2/2 does kind of suck.
Yeah.
That's shock range, which I think that sees more play than lightning bolt. We'll just see. But yeah, that's the only thing. I wish it had more of a butt. Even if it was a 2/4, I'd be cool with that, because I do worry about just her dying.
Yeah, agreed. Great point.
All right, well, let's get into this deck. I'm going to start off with the grain section. And Tuck, I think I'm going to shock you a little bit. So you and I have talked about just now that we need a lot of token producers.
Sure.
This particular legendary creature doesn't care what tokens get created. It's going to bring some squirrels along to the party.
Yes. Slam dunk.
Shatterfang Squirrel General. Slam dunk. Colorless, green, legendary creature, Squirrel Warrior, mythic. It's a 3/3 with Forest Walk. Great. I can actually play that stupid everything's a forest card that everyone seems to nut over.
Yavimaya XYZ.
Yeah, Cradle of Growth or whatever. But here's what I like about this, guys, on all effects. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus, because that's what I misread for the Najeela deck, many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens are created instead. So that's awesome. Basically, if I make 10 treasures, because 10 things died, I make 10 squirrels to go along with those treasures. But here's the other sweet thing about this. Black. Sacrifice X squirrels. Target creature gets +X, -X until end of turn. So literally, 1 black, sacrifice every freaking squirrel I have, gain 2 life times how many squirrels I had, plus I just killed whatever your deal was with the -X.
I was playing with the group here, and I was like, you know what? I'm busting out Parash. It was the last time I played Parash. It's been deconstructed. And I knew one of the guys, Chris the Caveman, was playing this. And I was like, all right, I'm coming in for the boat, right? 13 Parash to knock him out. He was like, all right, well, cool. I'm going to tap your Borg, and I'm going to sacrifice my board. I'm just going to kill your commander. I was like, there's more text on that card. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and the big reason, guys, I want this for the grain. This is a great modal card. It's a big thing that we're hot on. I think this deck, starting out, needs to rapidly accelerate the tokens, because I feel like once you get Savra on the battlefield, you want to impact some way, somehow. Even if it is just sacrificing like 2 creatures, you need stuff to start sacrificing and get the chain going.
Absolutely, yeah. Slam dunk, no questions asked. $5, worth it. Worth it in Kansas, worth it anywhere else.
Well, Tuck, give us your first grain card.
So this one is this new. I'm building a new Jund deck. I know,
shocker.
Everyone can believe it. So I'm playing the new Haste boy, right? The haste treasure guy. And there's a new card that came out that I think in this deck is going to do a lot of work for it. So that one is called Tenacious Underdog. So a colorless and a black for a creature human warrior. It also has Blitz, 2 colorless, black, pay 2 life. If you cast this for a spell for its Blitz cost, it gains haste. When it dies, draw a card, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. But the thing that I think really, okay, fine, whatever. Just blitz it out. Cool. The big thing is this. You may cast Tenacious Underdog from your graveyard using its Blitz ability, right? And I think the big thing with Savra that people may shy away from is like they lean too heavy on the black part of it, right? And they're like, okay, whatever, incidental life gain, What's it
Mhm.
matter, right? But you're sacking all these green creatures. You're gaining this life, and now Tenacious Underdog turns into 2 black net 0. You get a 3/2 draw card out of your graveyard that can go
No,
into yeah.
because no, you don't net 0. You net -4 life.
Well, you lose to that's what I'm saying, right? But I'm saying with your squirrels
Oh, okay.
and everything
Sorry, I
else,
thought
like
you were talking about in a vacuum, Tenacious Underdog. In a
correct.
vacuum,
No,
you lose 4
you
life
lose
to
4
do the
life,
blitz sack. Yeah.
draw a card, sacrifice, and also sacrifice someone else.
Yeah.
But to your point, that's what I was saying. Like people just see this as like a Golgari sacrifice deck, and they forget about the gain life part of it, right?
Gotcha.
So for me, like this card is just something that's consistent, drawing cards, always triggering that black ability of Savra, and you can just keep doing it from your graveyard over and over and over again. And it's like $1.50. This is gonna be 50 cents in a week.
I like it. I like the fact that there's no other condition to do the blitz ability, and it's not even like if it went to the graveyard with its blitz ability, exile it instead or something like that. So it's just like, even if you got nothing to do, I guess I could pay 4 life and 4 mana, make everyone sacrifice something, and maybe I get 3 damage in, but I also get to draw a card. Like, that's kind of cool,
Right?
So yeah, I like it.
It's
the next one, we're gonna go super quick because it's very boring. Phyrexian Altar, Ashnod Altar. You have to have both of them in here. They're both 3 colorless guys. They both state sacrifice a creature at instant speed. Phyrexian gives me a color of any mana I need. Ashnod is 2 colorless. This is kind of what I was talking about with, I want to be playing solitaire, sacrificing stuff to get additional mana and value like you normally use these cards. But I'm also getting that, well, I'll go ahead and pay an extra 2 life, or maybe I gain 2 life, or I get to do both. So you have to have this in a Savra build. The only thing I do want to ask, though, Tuck, do you think you need Altar of Dementia just to have it?
I was literally just going to ask you the same question. I will be talking about Ashnod's Altar later. In my opinion, you have to, right? And I think the reason is this is like, it's not creature dying deck. It's not creature going to the graveyard deck. It is sacrifice, right? We have to have all these abilities. And if you build up this Squall army from your Chatterfang, at some point, right? I think the altars, the P's and A's, if you will, right? I think they're really good, like at certain points of the game, but eventually they kind of don't do anything, right? If you don't have any cards in hand, you're kind of stymied, right? Sure, I can generate 80 mana, but then I just recast my commander, I guess, however many times.
Sure.
So I think having the dimension there is also kind of a must-have, right? That's the way you can push the game forward, getting milled, getting stuff out of people's libraries. That's how I feel about this. If you're going to run this deck, you have to have all 3 of them.
See, I almost kind of look at it opposite. Like, the only reason I would put it in the deck is if I was trying to mill myself and then I was doing graveyard shenanigans like Golgari usually does.
Sure. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I've seen people do now granted, we're not putting it in here for the mill aspect. It's more for the board control aspect. But I think there does come a point, though, to where it's like, well, we don't have any creatures, so like, what good does that do? And it's like, do I really want to like sacrifice my board to make one person mill 10? I don't know. So I've actually had Dementia backfire on me when I have super low power stuff.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like, okay, you got 50 cards in your deck.
What's
what
8 going to do? Yeah. Hey, MrCombo, have you ever had this card backfire on you?
I mean, I have, because it's in my Shirai deck, and that's where it has backfired.
Really?
They're not strong enough to matter. It's all 1 or less, and it's based off of power. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm glad to hear that point. I mean, once again, we're theory crafting here, so no idea is a bad idea unless it breaks the color pie. BigTuck, what's your next card?
All right, so this is another new one. I believe this is fresh off the presses. But to your point with the Chatterfang, I think tokens are going to be big in this, right? Of any varietal, right? It doesn't matter if they're, as I call them, the TCFs, which is the Treasure Clues Foods, or otherwise. We're doing that. That's a new bit. TCFs, baby.
You know what you remind me of right now?
Someone that you don't like?
It was you remind me of Kevin in The Office. Like, remember? I don't know. Did you ever watch The Office?
Is this the
where he shortens everything down?
Me speak less.
Save time.
Yeah, save time. But anyways, tokens are going to be big in this deck, right?
Yep.
Regardless, TCFs or otherwise. So I think Killer Service is going to do a whole lot of good here. So 2 colors and a green, fresh off the fences of new Caperna, as it's called. It's an enchantment.
It's
When it enters the
Capenna.
battlefield,
Capenna.
when it enters the battlefield, create a number of food tokens equal to the number of opponents you have, their foods, you gain life, whatever. But more importantly, at the beginning of your end step, you may pay 2 and sacrifice a token.
Oh.
If you do, create a 4/4 green rhino creature token, right? So we already have Ashnal's Altar in here, right? We're already doing the token thing. I feel with this card, you're just getting value once a turn, right? I wish it was at the beginning of every end step, but for me, you're getting your gain life thing, you're getting your token sacrifice, you're getting a way to generate something at the end of your turn, even if when someone blows up your Ashnalds and Phyrexians and the rest of the world. You still have this card that's going to be able to generate you another token that you can block with and then eventually sacrifice for more shenanigans.
And I love it that he has a knife taped to the bottom of his serving platter. What a gangster.
Killer Service.
Yeah. I mean, 30 cents. I don't know why I wouldn't try it at least.
Hooray.
I mean, this even seems like something I should consider in my Gira deck, to be honest. Because I could convert some of my crappy 1/1 and 2/2 tokens into a 4/4 Rhino at least.
Right. Absolutely. And we all know that you like the tribal part of it. And I think, like, I don't know. I think if you're going the Chatterfang route, you're now, when it enters the battlefield, you get even more squirrels and foods, right? Like, I think there's a lot of synergy in that, like I said, the TCF build. So
yeah,
something to think about.
And my next card is going to compound on a lot of the stuff even better. So this is another one. I have it in my grains because it's establishing my token board state. Got to bring out the girl, Ghoulcaller Giza. 3 colorless, black, legendary creature, human wizard. You can get her for $2. Not bad.
Yep, not bad at all.
3/4 black, tap, sacrifice another creature, create X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens where X is a sacrifice creature's power. So I look at this like the worst case is I use Ghoulcaller Giza to sacrifice the 2/2 zombie creature token to then make 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. So it's always going to give me exponentially +1 on the same black zombie tokens. But hey, if it's a 4/4 Rhino, now I get 4 2/2 black zombies. I mean, it just can compound so nice that I create a bunch of tokens, and at the same time, it's probably going to be a black zombie that I'm sacrificing. Pay 2 life. Now everyone has to sacrifice. I mean, for 2 life, a black, gain 2 2/2 tokens, and everyone else loses a creature. That's really good.
It's bonkers. Yeah, and I like this idea that you're building in as well, where it's like, even though they're like do you feel? How can I word this? Sorry. Sacrifice is so critical to this that a card like this may not make the cut in a normal Golgari Reanimator deck, but here because it's sacrifice, it's so much more powerful, right?
Yep.
And in this card, even if you get like bigger creatures, you can still run away the game with it with just her, right? Like doing it over and over again. Slam dunk, no questions asked.
Oh, Tuck, just imagine if we had blue, we could put an intruder alarm.
I was trying to do, okay, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was trying to do this intruder alarm. I was trying to figure out some way to do something similar, but I couldn't figure it out.
Well, what's your last grain card?
We've talked about this one before. I think this card is just if you're playing a sacrifice deck, if you're playing a haste deck, I think this card is worth its weight in gold. Nether Trader. So double black for a creature spirit. It has haste and shadow, meaning it can be blocked. It can be blocked or blocked. It can block or be blocked by other creatures with the shadow. Whenever another creature is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay black. If you do, return Nether Trader from your graveyard to the battlefield. If this card said whenever another non-token creature dies or is put into your graveyard or whatever, not as hot, right?
Yeah.
But for me, it's like we have already talked about this token strategy that we're going to be doing. The fact that now, even if we are running out of tokens, we always have this thing waiting in the wings to come back in. And you agree that Savra's stronger ability is the black part of it, right? Like the sacrifice part of it, it's way stronger. So the fact that we can do this pretty consistently over and over and over again with Nether Trader, maybe a couple times in the same turn, sacrifice it, pay 2, sacrifice another token, pay black, go there. With Ghoulcaller Giza, you sacrifice your zombie, you bring him out, he's ready to go. I think Nether Trader is just so strong in these decks because he's so easily recurable.
So I guess my question to you is Nether Trader better than Reassembling Skeleton? Because reassembling, you can just do it on its own. You don't need any other condition.
I think so.
And, sorry, the other part, reassembling skeleton can block whatever I want. Nether Trader will never be able to
True.
block, so I can't even throw it in front of something.
Fair point. I think, obviously, reassembling skeleton's going to be in here as well.
Yeah.
I just think that this deck is not, it's not sitting around and waiting, right? Like, we are sacrificing stuff, we're doing things. So for me, this is like, I think Nether Trader and reassembling skeleton fill the same gap in different ways, right? Like, reassembling skeleton's good if you don't have any creatures on board, but if you don't have any creatures on board, then like, are you doing what the deck's doing? MrCombo is about to say something that's profound.
Can I go infinite with this and Phyrexian
I
Altar?
so.
Because, so I sacrifice this. There's something, I'm sure, that says whenever you sacrifice a non-token creature, make a token or something like that. You make the token, you sacrifice it, float another black. Nether Trader, you use the initial black to bring it back. Now you're always netting one black.
I think so.
Hold on. In my notes, caps, bold, combo!
Combo!
Wow. Huh.
I told you I brought the heat on this. I brought the heat on this deck. I'm not going to lie to you.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to have to go change my underwear, but let's leave the grain section and head over to the hot profile. BigTuck, while I get the stinkies out, what did you pick?
Best card in the deck, no questions asked. We've talked about this cycle before, about how some of them are much better than others.
Oh, Shieldred.
No, wait, is that...
Oh.
No.
No. You were talking about, like, we talked about, like, some are better than others, like how you and I are both not hot on the mono red Phyrexian. I thought you were talking about the Phyrexian cycle. Anyways.
No. We're talking about the Liege cycle. Chaboy, Creekwood Liege is the best card in the deck. Colorless, triple Golgari hybrid. Creature horror. Other black creatures you control get +1/+1. Other green creatures you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may create a 1/1 black and green worm creature token. It's $8. It gets Savra outside of lightning bolt range and pyroclasm, right? Because she gets her to 4. This is not the first time we're talking about these black and green creature tokens. You get one for free every turn. When I saw this played, this guy played this the turn after Savra and just had he played the turn before and then just had the game on lockdown.
Wow.
So he can sacrifice the token, comes out, gains the life, sacrifices it to no end, and just keep going. It's so bonkers. It's insanely strong in this deck.
I wish this costs 3 more mana and said each upkeep.
Each upkeep?
Yeah. I would be willing to pay 7 mana to get each upkeep.
Each upkeep, right?
That's really good, man. That's strong.
It's bonkers. I got these 3 I got in the hops are solid.
But I will say the one drawback of this guy is the same drawback that Savra has. He's still only a 2/2.
Yeah, fair point.
So
right. He doesn't get buffed.
It's kind of like the Indomitable Archangel, where if you control 3 or more artifacts, your artifacts you control have Shroud, but she herself does not.
Doesn't have.
So,
yeah.
So it's like you have to try to protect. Like I actually did this when we played last week. Something Duffman mentioned, like I missed 40 life to dash, so I'll give a mini one. Is I had Indomitable Archangel, all the artifacts I needed to give all my artifacts Shroud, and then put Lightning Greaves on her to give her Shroud. But my Lightning Greaves also had Shroud, so it was like Shroud. Everything was covered. So the only way they could do it was a board wipe. So it's like you have to kind of find like weird things. So I do think in this deck, and I've been cutting it, I'm probably gonna have to put Swiftfoot and Lightning Greaves in here because I probably need ways to protect things like Creekwood Liege and Savra when they can't really protect themselves.
Absolutely. All right, what do you got for me in the hops?
Oh, okay. We are talking. Okay, so this card, the reason I like it is because it does do a little bit of graveyard recursion, and also, so I'm looking at this as like a modal card. I have it in hops because I have it in here specifically because I can sacrifice any number of creatures I want. But it's modal because also it could be a grain or a yeast because it's also going to pull from the graveyard. So we are talking for a cool 20 cents Champion of Stray Souls. 4 colorless, black, creature skeleton warrior. It's a 4/4, and it first came out in Born of Gods, I believe. 3 colorless, black, tap. Sacrifice X other creatures. Return X target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Oof.
And for 5 colorless black, I could bring Champion of Stray Souls from my graveyard to the top of my library. What do you think?
Blowout. I opened this as a mythic when I was living in China.
Super disappointed.
Yeah, I was like, this sucks. Yeah.
And some people might argue the 7 is like really expensive for another activated ability, but guys, he costs 6 to get out, so it's only 1 more mana to bring it back from the graveyard. Yeah, who cares?
Who cares, right? Like I think
And another thing, Tuck, there's no condition to it. That's the other thing I like about this. Like, as further we can get to where it's just like, once again, I'm solitaire. I only care about what happens in my cardboard rectangle area. That's all I want. Like, who cares what you guys are doing?
Well, and the best part is like, okay, yeah, it takes, so you sacrifice this early game or you just discard it, right? Someone plays, like we talked about last week, the card where Siphon Mine, right? Like, okay, cool, I'm gonna bury this one, right? And I guarantee people are gonna say, "Oh, cost 7, whatever." Like this,
worry about it later.
More worry, like whatever,
yeah.
Right? And then late game, because correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like this is a like mid to late game win deck, right? Like we are controlling the board the entire game, and then eventually everyone's gonna run out of resources, and you're still gonna have your shit to do.
I think the optimal build, so if we want to call S tier, you're actually winning in the mid game, because with all the sacrifice, there's all like the, don't want to spoil them, but there's a lot of pingers that just constantly ping over and over and over. So I see this as a deck that at S tier, it should be winning by like turn 6, 7. But I think the level that I'll build, it'll probably be A tier. So this will probably be like a 10 turn or less deck.
Yeah. So like, but same point, right? Where it's like, okay, fine, whatever. I'm gonna discard Champion Stray Souls turn 1 or 2, and then when I'm able to play it at the end of your turn, this is gonna win me the game because I'm gonna bring out, I'm gonna sacrifice all these tokens and just win the game.
Yep, and I'm gonna bring all my non-token stuff back. And how many things did I sacrifice? 4 black creatures, 5 green. Okay, I'll just net 2 life. You guys sacrifice 4 creatures each.
Right, and then how do you come back from that?
Yep,
love it.
All right. Well, what's your second Hoppy card?
You made mention of this. We are going all in on the green and black pest and insects. So, in my opinion, pest infestation is going to do everything. It's so good. Double black and green. Double X and green for sorcery. Destroy up to X target artifacts and or enchantments. Create twice X 1 and 1 black and green pest creature tokens. With when this creature dies, you gain 1 life. We're just gonna say pest creature tokens because we know what they do. The best part about this card is that they worded it up to artifacts and enchantments, right? So you don't like, okay, I already cleared the board 4 times. There's no one else. I have 17 mana. All right, here's all my pests. I have Savra out, and I have a sacrifice outlet. Is anyone interested in even trying to continue playing the game? No. Are you playing a Soul Slinger deck? No. Great. All right. So I'm just gonna win over time. Just completely bonkers. I mean, this card absolutely is worth every cent of its $7 price tag and change as a board wipe, as a creature generator, completely across the board.
This is how I think they should design double X cards in the future. So guys, if you're not familiar, like the whole double X thing means that you every 2 mana you put in, you get 1 X is essentially the way it works. And so I love it because if you put in 10, you get to destroy 5 target artifacts or enchantments. But because they do the twice, whatever mana you dump into it minus the green, you get that many pests. And usually people have a real feel bad. Yeah, because it's like, oh, I got to pay 6 to get 3 tokens. That's awful. But it's you put in 6 to destroy 3 target artifacts and enchantments and then get 6 tokens. That's awesome.
And on top of that, like it's like people say Secure the Waste is good. It's like, okay, great. This is Secure the Waste plus, right? You have no downside for running this to create those creatures.
Absolutely. And this card, I guarantee, will not be getting any cheaper.
No chance.
All right. Next one. Bontu, the Glorified.
Oh,
2 colorless black, legendary creature god, 4/6 mythic. Menace, indestructible, can't attack or block unless a creature died under my control this turn. But here's why I wanted it in here. Colorless black, sack another creature, scry 1, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. So I have Sacrifice on a stick. It allows me to activate Bontu to use as a blocker. it's awesome having a 4/6 indestructible blocker. Each opponent loses a life. I get to gain a life, and I get to scry one. And it triggers my sacrifice thing. So then I'm going to make everyone else sacrifice, or I'm going to gain 2 life. So much work is happening on this card.
I love this card. Like, I tried to run as my tight leaders commander, it sucked. I tried to run as my normal leaders commander, it sucked. But again, like you said, the two, like, I think the big argument people have against this card is you have to pay for it every time. But in this deck, it's like, who cares, right? Like, this is the win con. Like, you can't attack me. If you don't have a Comet Storm, you're effed. So I'm just going to burn you out of the game over 4 turns because I have all the mana because I'm playing Golgari.
Yep.
Amazing. Yep. Big fan.
And I like it because it is instant speed control. So if my opponents try to do some sort of trickery thing during combat, okay, I have this guy that is indestructible. I think that's the big thing, because your opponents can, shatter an Ashnod's Altar, a Phyrexian Altar.
Sure, yeah.
Onto the Glorified, they got to exile him.
Right.
Or and negative counters, I guess. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, give us your final hoppy.
What if I told you that there was a card that not only is a green-black insect, but
is also a planeswalker?
Yeah. Damn it. Do you have this one too?
No, of course not.
What are you talking? This is like another great card in the deck. Grist the Hunger Tide, colorless black-green for legendary planeswalker Grist with loyalty 3. It's around $6. As long as it's not on the battlefield, it's a 1/1 insect creature in addition to its other types. Everything nails it. +1. Create a +1 green and black insect creature token, then mill a card. If an insect card is milled this way, put a loyalty counter on Grist and repeat this process. Maybe, depending on how you build the deck. -2. Sack a creature. When you do, destroy target creature or planeswalker. -5. Each opponent loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. -5 is nice to have, right? If you're building it with 20 creatures, it doesn't really matter. What matters is you're creating a sacrifice of fodder. It's like we talk about almost every other turn. You're creating something, sacrificing something, creating something, sacrificing something.
Yep.
It's completely, it's bonkers.
Do you think on the same, should I put Frailes in this deck? +1, I make an elf. -1, I destroy a target artifact enchantment.
The other one I had was like the Vraska Golgari, where it's like +1.
I saw that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like that, I think all 3 of those are probably on the board. I think Frailes works best if you're trying to go into the token strategy of it, right? And if you are, if you're like, okay, I'm actually care way more about tokens, Frailes is going to get you way more ground if we're doing the parallel lives, the doubling season, that sort of thing, and that's how you're going to eke out the value. But beyond that, I mean, I still think she's good. She was kind of on the list for me a little bit, but I think of all 3 of those. Of all 3 of those, I think Grist gives the most value across the board.
Grist does give the most value. I just always, whenever I think of the ± back and forth of Planeswalker, Frailes always comes up because it's literally no downside to do it.
Right.
But I like this. I mean, it gives me a sacrifice, and now I can kill a Planeswalker, or that's so.
And you also sacrifice. You sacrifice.
How does that stack? -2. Oh no, so I would have to destroy the target creature before they sacrifice. So that's kind of cool. I can kind of choose. Okay, I think they would go for this one because maybe it has this effect, so I'd blow that up. Because her effect because that's part of the activation. Yeah. I'd have to sacrifice. I'd have to complete that before I'd get to Savra's ability, right? Rules lawyers, come at us. Layers.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I can't. Moving on.
I like the card. I don't know if it's worth $6. I know it's just because it's in Modern Horizons 2. That's why it's so expensive. So it's like, I think if I could try to find one for like $4, I think I'd be willing to do that, because I genuinely don't know what deck I would put this in if it didn't work out here. Is kind of like where I'm at. But no, I like it, and it's cool because it is a insect in the graveyard. So when bring your creatures back, I can bring this back. So I kind of like that.
I think he's a big boy, and I like him.
All right. Well, here is the thickness, the Eradicator Valkyrie. 2 colorless, black creature, Angel Berserker, 4/3 mythic, flying, lifelink, hexproof from Planeswalkers. Boast, colorless black, sacrifice a creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or a planeswalker. So y'all got to sacrifice 2 things, and I just sacrificed 1 thing. Let's go.
Yeah. God, and Boast, you can do it over and over. Lifelink too. Ugh. It's so good.
Yep, and it comes in at a cool $1.72, so very, very affordable.
Can't beat that.
No, sir, you cannot. All right, guys.
So
Well, that's going to
good.
wrap up the board state and hot profile. Now we're going to head over to how the deck wins and yeast. All right, so to kick off the yeast package, I'm going to start also with a very boring card tuck, but it's a boring card that fits beautifully in this deck. We've talked a lot about tokens, and I think we can all recognize if your opponent's kind of like Tuck you were talking about with your deck, if they don't have creatures, like how am I making this work? Well, combat damage is the easiest way to win. So Eldrazi Monument does everything I need. 5 colorless artifact, mythic. Creatures you control get +1/+1, have flying and indestructible. At the beginning of your upkeep, sack a creature. If you can't, sacrifice Eldrazi Monument. It's pretty easy.
Who could possibly care about sacrificing a creature, right?
Yeah, and you get it for about $11. So I think this is
how many decks? Okay, two-part questions. How many decks do you have this in? And also, how many decks have we together said that this is good in?
I maybe have 2 of these tops.
But
I really don't play this card a lot.
The entirety of the show, of all the decks we've built, I would say we've at least mentioned this at least 10 times.
Oh, well, but think about it. 139 episodes, only mentioning it 10 times. That's like a 6% rate, 7% rate.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah,
I think if you're swiping on a dating app and you're only matching 6% of the time, you have a gun in your mouth. Ooh, edit that out.
I was gonna say, did you get that because you saw me by myself last weekend, or how did you?
Jesus. But no, I think this card is absolutely fantastic. There's literally, in my opinion, no real reason I shouldn't have it in here. Unless someone was going to tell me, hey, that card slot should be used for this because everything else was so perfectly tuned. Because I think this is good as the 98th, 99 card in the deck. Because it's like, well, if I got to hit someone in the face, at least I got a way to do it.
You got a way to do it easily. And like the sacrifice thing is like no downside, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Tuck.
I have kind of I have a similar idea, just slightly different. So this card is like probably the 105th card in the deck, but it seems like really interesting. So I want to talk about Blight Mound. So 2 colors and a black for an enchantment. Attacking pests you control get +1/+0 and have menace. But hear me out. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with a pest token, and it's 55 cents. So I feel like if you're trying to make this deck into something that's a little more fun for you, this is something you say to me all the time, right? Like something a little more fun. I say we're going in on pests, right? Like we are going to generate all the cards we can, all 10 of them. They're going to generate pests, and then the rest of them is going to support them, right? So if we are playing that game, I think this is very strong, right? The token creature, the non-token creatures that we're sacrificing are going to be able to come back. They're going to be able to be recursion. We're going to be able to sacrifice them multiple times a turn potentially. And then now eventually you have this big pest army that has menace and can start swinging in the red zone into like 1 or 2 creatures after all the sacrifices go through. So a little bit crazy, a little bit wild, maybe a little bit of a spice, but I have other things to talk about in that thing.
This is a spice only because of this. We've talked about how important tokens are going to be to this deck, so that whenever a non-token creature you control dies, I would say this is a spice if I'm at 20 or less. If I'm at 25, I think that's like the bare minimum to where it's like, okay, I feel good about this being in the deck.
Right.
Because here's going to be the challenge. It's like we talked about, like how many different directions are you going? We really haven't talked about recursion that much.
Yeah.
Other than like a couple cards that have kind of do it, but they're more there to like do the sacrifice effect.
Right.
So that's a little bit of where I would kind of maybe overthink it, underthink it. I don't know how you want to phrase it, but it's like, how much recursion do I need in here? Or how many non-tokens do I need in here to make the bottom effect not just be if it happens, it happens.
But to be fair, this can go infinite with Nether Trader, right?
Damn it, I'm sold.
You will be. Oh, you will be. You
All
will
right.
be.
Here's another kind of
all right, what do we got?
Boring card, kind of boring. I'm getting a couple of these out of the way.
Get them out of the way.
One we don't hear about it a lot though. This guy has only been printed once. $28. He's a trader of the vampires. Calatus, Trader of Get.
Oh, sure.
2 colorless, black, legendary creature, vampire, warrior, mythic 3/4. See, it's like boring, but you don't hear about it a ton. Is like the weird thing.
$28. Jeez.
Yeah. Lifelink. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die. So that's why I'm okay with this one. Instead, exile that card and put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. I love that.
Yeah, that's
2 colorless black, sack another vampire or zombie, and put 2 +1/+1 counters on Calatus, Trader of Get. I don't think I would ever proactively use that effect because 3 mana is a lot for the sacrifice. 2 mana is like, we were just talking about Bontu, like people complain about the 2 mana.
Oh,
like
it's
now we're
so
talking
costly.
3. Yeah. But I do think the non-token creature getting exiled piece is so big. If I can I'm going to sacrifice 4 squirrels, 4 pests. I make my opponent sacrifice 4 permanents. It doesn't matter if I'm playing a token player. They're probably going to have to sacrifice a non-token thing. And that's going to get me a zombie token. That's going to continue all of these trends that we have.
Totally. Yeah, I think and again, okay, so Savra costs 15, right? Whatever arbitrary amount. You are playing Golgari, you will have the mana generated from Ashalts or otherwise. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to play Calatus, Trader again. You don't have anything on your board? Great. Pass. All the removal's gone. All right, great. I'm going to spend all my mana and sacrifice everything I have, all the zombies that I've gotten from this. Now he's 15, right? So now I'm back up to 45, and now what? Now I can cast Savra.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's why he's cost so much. Do you have a copy of this? You don't,
I got a couple.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you open them?
No, I bought them years ago.
Oh, for what?
I mean, you got to remember, this came out in Oath. I just started playing within like a year and a half.
Yeah, 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think you got me into it 2016, 2015. So, I mean, I think this is in my Shirai deck. I think this is in my Carador deck.
Oh,
it might be in my Rakdos Turns and Burns deck. I mean, I have a few of them floating around.
Do you want to know why this card is actually that expensive?
Modern?
Edgar Makarov.
Oh, yeah,
it's insanely good in that.
Flipping vampires. All right, Tuck, get us your next yeast.
So I'm gonna do another quick one. We're talking about tokens. I know you're not trying to swing, right? But
no, I'm faithful to my fiance. Oh, damn it!
Hit it! We hit it! No, did the wrong one. No, there it is. Bro. Wait, do it one more time. I didn't hear it. Bang. Okay. So, I feel that there are cards in here that are going to make your creatures, however many you have, very, very strong. And the one that's going to do it the easiest is Mazarek Karul Death Priest.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 colorless, black and a green for legendary creature, insect shaman with flying. It's a 2/2. If you can sense the theme. Whenever a player sacrifices another permanent, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Blowout. Any way you cut it, right? Like,
oh god, I do 1 activation. I get to put 4 +1/+1 counters on all my creatures.
One time. And that's not even talking about the things we're talking about sacrificing our own tokens. It's a permanent, right? The reason why this card is stupid is because of two words. A player, another permanent. That's it. You have what were we talking about earlier? I have to look it back up, but like you have all these squirrels, right?
Oh yeah,
squirrels.
Yeah.
So cool. I'm gonna pay 1 black. This is no other cards, right? 20 squirrels and Chatterfang and Kazul Death Priest. I'm gonna pay 1 black and sacrifice 5 of them. Now what? Like how do you beat that, right?
And then I got Eldrazi Monument, and you can't handle me.
The best part is it's each creature, including himself, and he has flying.
Yeah, but I do like the fact that they did do another permanent instead of a permanent, because you could have I'm sure people would try to loot Mazarek, +1 counters, Woodfall Primus type shenanigans.
Yeah, that sort of rigmaroles.
Yeah, but no, this is a slam dunk. I don't think I have one of these, so I'm glad that they're only about $5.
Yeah. Easy buy. An easy buy. All right. Bring us home. What's your last one?
All right. This is a card that annoyed the hell out of me in Arena.
Oh, I love these stories.
He's a fairy rogue that's just a dick. And he's from that trash set that we both hate.
Wait, Rankles? We're getting Rankle?
Oh, Rankle, Master of Pranks.
Yes.
2 colorless,
Yes.
black, mythic, 3/3 legendary creature fairy rogue. It has flying and haste.
Oh, boy.
Whenever Rankle deals combat damage to a player, choose any number. Each player discards a card. Each player loses 1 life and draws a card. Each player sacrifices a creature. I'm sorry, it'll always be the third option.
It's all 3 of them, isn't it? Like, you have no lot. Well, lose 1 life, draw a card.
Well, it's each player. So then it's like, do I want to give my opponents a card?
I feel like in this deck, it's always 1 and 3, right?
I don't think I'm doing 1 for myself because once again, we're just theory crafting, so I don't know what the other 80 cards are going to look like.
Right.
Like, how much graveyard recursion am I actually going to have? How flooded in mana am I actually going to have? So I think it's something that I'll keep an eye on. Or if I see maybe if one of my opponents only has 2 cards, it's like, okay, I'll just go ahead and do the discard a card and I'll lose it, but it's because I took out 50% of their hand.
Right.
But yeah, I just like that as each player sacrifices a creature, gives me that sack outlet. You guys all sack, and then I'm going to pay 2 life. You're going to do it again.
Over and over and over again, right?
Yep.
Like he's going to be able to attack someone, right? Like,
and flying haste, evasion, and he comes out of nowhere. Literally out of nowhere. And that's what I hated about him on Arena.
Wait, so I know you don't talk about Arena a lot. This is what there was 2 cards in Arena that you
so
hated.
Annoying.
It was this one. There was this one. There's another one too. What was the other one?
I mean, 4-color Omnath sucked on Arena. That was annoying as hell. The elemental that like it comes in and you like kind of look at your top. It's like a cynic card. Yeah, like that one was annoying as hell. I'm so glad. It's weird. I think I still have Arena on my phone. I've never logged in.
I have now started collecting, like, because when you buy pre-release kits, you get Arena codes. So I just get those just to open them. But I had at the beginning of the year, I had very big ideas of becoming our CMD Tower Arena streamer, and then I started playing rugby. So what are you gonna do? Slam dunk though. I like this one.
All right, well, bring us home with your final Yeast card.
I got 3.
Combo.
We did it, and you're gonna be so happy. I did this.
I know Ashnod's Artler is one of them.
Ashnod's Artler. Well, so technically, your commander is one of them.
Oh, okay.
So, but we didn't talk about Ashnod's Altar is the other one, and then we got a little card called Trudge Garden. So 2 colorless and a green, which is whenever you gain life, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 4/4 green fungus beast creature token with trample. So,
okay. I see what you're doing here. I see what you're doing here.
Do I even need to explain the third card? Do you got this?
Well, just with my commander, or is there another card on top of my commander?
There's another card on top of the commander.
Oh my god. Okay, what's that?
Well, why don't you explain the combo to everyone else, MrCombo?
Well, so Ashnod's Altar, you'll generate 2 colorless mana. If you sacrifice a green creature, you gain 2 life. So then you pay the 2 colorless. You'll make a 4/4 green fungus beast creature token with trample. You then sacrifice that to Ashnod's Altar. That gains you 2 life. That nets you 2 mana. You make another 4/4. So you get infinite 2 life chunks.
Well, and you also get infinite what?
Enter the battle. Are you doing it? Oh, yeah. I just need to hear you say it. I always say it.
Happy birthday.
Do it.
Never tell me I never do anything for you. And then you throw in a little Altar of the Brood, and the game is over. The Brood. You spent so much time trying to figure out how to shoehorn Intruder Alarm into all of my theory crafts. I thought I could at least do you the goddamn common courtesy of adding it in. That's it. Done. Altar of the Brood. Nailed it again.
You know what else works? In addition to Altar of the Brood, I mean, it depends on how I'm if I'm really just, this is my line, I think I'd put in Aetherflux Reservoir.
Oh, sure.
Infinite life. I just 50 dome people.
Is Aetherflux cast a spell? What is that? I always forget.
It's cast a spell, but it's still just pay 50 life. This gets me infinite life.
You're already gaining infinite life? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's not how you do things, right? Like I just gave you, I guarantee Altar of the Brute's already in the deck because you care about milling.
That's hot. That's hot.
Am I wrong? Are you happy? I was really happy about that one. All right, good. Because I'm about to make you very upset in spices.
Well, let's get to it, guys. That's going to wrap up the yeast package, and now we're going to head over to the spice. I guess BigTuck ruined my night?
Well, listen. It's a card that you can get for such a pittance of mana and such a pittance of price. That's just going to generate value over and over and over again, especially when you sack those every turn. And we've talked about this in the past, but in my opinion, I feel like there's a lot of range potential use for.
Don't say Spore Frog.
No. Oh, no.
Okay.
Even worse. Come on. Dreadhorde Invasion, let's go.
Oh my god. Why do you do this to me?
Cost of the black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and amass 1. Whatever zombie token you control with power 6 or greater attacks against lifelink until end turn. 56 cents, 26 cents. Done.
Now, I will say this. I am making zombie tokens, so that's nice. But wouldn't I still rather just have Bitter Blossom?
Do you own a Bitter Blossom, sir?
Yeah, I have the Secret Lair.
Do you have it in a deck?
I don't think so. I might have even gotten rid of it because I didn't want it.
But why not 2 Bitter Blossoms in the same deck with minimal difference? In reality, like I said, if you want to go, this card is in the spice, A, because I wanted to make you upset, so nailed it, and then B, it's like it goes back to the token non-token argument, right? If you want to run the tokens and like you just want something that's just going to generate over time, this card's a slam. This card is still kind of yeasty because Bitter Blossom's better, but if you're trying to do the creature form of this one's maybe not so good.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I think with your Mazarek, I do think the zombie token, power 6 or greater, could actually trigger.
Oh,
and
sure,
like, how nice would that be to like swing with like 8, 6 or greater, but they all just have lifelink, and I'm just looking to gain life.
Yeah,
that could be awesome. So it's a fine pick for spice.
Do you feel like we finally hacked the deck that you might be able to put Dreadhorde Invasion in?
Maybe. I'll have to see how many things are making zombie tokens. If I have, I'll say this. If I have 6 or 7 ways to make zombie tokens throughout the deck, including Dreadhorde Invasion, I think it lives in the deck.
Yeah! Yes! Very exciting.
All right. Now, are you ready for a card?
I got one more as well, but I'll do that after you.
Okay. It's only been printed once. M11. $10. It costs 6, black, and it's a 9/9. It's 9s all around. Demon of Death's Gate.
What?
Creature demon, flying trample 9/9. But here's why we want it. You may pay 6 life and sacrifice 3 black creatures rather than pay Demon of Death Gate's mana cost. So if I get, let's go hypothetical here, Tuck. Turn 2, Dreadhorde Invasion. Turn 3, it makes a zombie token. Turn 4, I get my commander out. Turn 5, I make another zombie token. So I got my zombie tokens out. You know, from which way I do it, we'll just figure it out.
However you want to do it, yeah.
Yeah, so turn 5, sacrifice the 3 tokens, pay 6 life. Oh, sorry, I'm going to pay 12 life. Make all of my opponents sacrifice 3 creatures each, and I get a 9/9 flying trample to the battlefield. That, to me, is a spice, because it does what my deck wants, but it's like, it's taken over 25% of my life to do it. Starting life total to do it.
Yes, and this is really good. This is a great pick. Because it goes, like, so I think it goes back to the same idea of, like, I honestly think that you're underselling this card a little bit, right?
Oh.
Because at some point, 6 life to you isn't going to matter. Like, we have all these black and green, we have all these black and green creature tokens that you've amassed, right? So if you have a commander out and you sack 3 of them, it's free, right?
Sure.
So you're only 6 life for the sacrifice effect. This is hot. No, this is hot. This is
hot. I think the only way it would take it from a spice to a yeast is if it either had I know this is an older card, so get over it.
Sure.
Ward, hexproof,
Oh,
haste,
anything, yeah.
protection from white. If it had some sort of evasion, like protection evasion, then I think this thing would be a legit yeast in the deck.
Yeah.
Or if it had like you can activate this from the graveyard, then that would also be a yeast.
I think haste would be like really strong, right? Like, isn't it funny that now like this card back in 2011 was probably like unbeatable, right?
Yeah.
Like someone casts this, you're like, well, I guess I just scoop up, and now we're like, well, it could just be better, right? Like a 9/9 with flying and trample for effectively free doesn't quite get in the red zone.
Yeah, the only thing I am curious on, I think I know what you're going to answer, but do you think I'm risking anything with it being black creatures specific that I have to sacrifice? Do you think I'm ever going to be at a point where it's like,
No.
I cannot do this?
I don't think so. Like, the fact of the matter is, like, the insects cards we're putting in here are black and green. You're creating zombies. Like, I think that's way too far of an edge case. But do you want to know what is an edge case?
Give me your rim case.
Ren case. Okay. Just in case we do put in enough of these off color and bizarre creatures into here.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps Blex Vexing Pest could make a difference. 2 colors and a green for legendary creature pest. It's the 3/2. Other pests, bats,
God.
insects, snakes, and spiders you control get +1/+1.
Oh my God.
When it dies, you get +4/+4, and it has a backside. Search for Blex. 2 colors, black, black. Look at the top 5 cards of the library. You may put any of them in your hand and the rest in your graveyard. You lose 3 life for each card you put in your hand this way.
Oh my God.
Now listen, I'm not saying this card's good. I would even actually say this card's not great.
I feel like you're telling me I need to actually not build Savra and I need to build Blex. Just have a pest deck.
Look, I'm just saying. I didn't even put in any bats cards. There's like 4 of them, I think. But I will say that all I will say is this: is that pests and insects, a lot of them are both colored, right? That we want. Snakes, like from your Ophiomancers of the world, are black. You get the sacrifice trigger, and eventually you're gonna have enough of them that maybe you can swing in. Who's to say? Not me, and that's why it's my spice pick. I put 2 cards in here that I knew would eventually upset you.
The only thing I have to say on this card is it is kind of good as long as I run that Arachna fog deal.
Oh God!
Where I get like the amount of where I get the 1/2 spiders for each creature attacking. That'd be a blowout.
Is that a blow? That has to be a blowout, right? So let me ask you this: what card is sweatier, this or Dreadhorde Invasion?
This.
It has to be this, right?
Yeah. It's by far this. Not even I mean, the only other thing that I would argue is probably sweatier is trying to remember. Blightmound.
Oh, Blightmound is awfully sweaty.
So I would put Blightmound and Blex Vexing Pest on the same sweaty level where they are at the end of the episode. And thanks, guys, for making it. And we'd love for you to leave a 5-star review wherever you listen to us. And also make sure you go follow our YouTube channel, subscribe, get those alerts for when we are going to start uploading our Twitch streams. And also you can subscribe to us on Twitch. But if you'd like to get a hold of us and maybe ask questions about the thought process of the deck, here's how you can do that. You can get a hold of me on Twitter at MrCombo5, all spelled out, except for the 5. BigTuck. Okay. I'm going to say nobody had a birthday that you wished. But did anyone have a beer that they tried that you were like, hey, way to have that beer?
Damn it. That is good. So insofar as we've retired the voices bit, I've also retired the birthday bit. But I will say this. You can still find me at BigTuck. What is actually my Twitter handle?
I think it's BigTuck tweeting.
At BigTuck tweeting. Yeah, at BigTuck tweeting. And I will also say this. I will be at Command Fest in Richmond, Virginia. So if anyone is there, give me a holler. We can jam.
There you go. And yeah, if you guys want Tuck to sign your playmat with his illegible signature, I'm sure he'd be happy to do that as well.
No, I took your constructive criticism, and I have my new signature. That's like the BT with the heart. I got it.
There you go.
I got it.
You guys can reach our main account at CMD Tower on Twitter as well. It's also a great spot to get most of our updates. You'll be able to find the cards that we talked about today at cmdtower.com/BNBE139. Also, we do have that amazing Patreon. So if you guys want to support us, head over to patreon.com/CMD Tower. Lots of different tiers for budgets of all shapes and sizes. We really do embrace our community for all the support you guys give us, because honestly, we wouldn't be able to have been on this long without you guys helping out. So definitely, if you like the content and you want us to keep improving it, please join our Patreon. Now, if you have already joined and you want to keep growing that collective because you want the content to keep improving, refer friends, family, frenemies, maybe your own day two in your play group, have them join. And when they do, have them message our, account and let us know who referred them. We will hook you up with some free swag just for doing so. Now, we do have a store. Hopefully, it's not under attack by the Russian cosmonauts in the 60s, but cmdtower.com/merch. That's where you can get our foil play match and get sweaters. You can get our metal tokens, coins, all the accoutrements. We will also be hopefully getting our store set up on eBay and on Etsy. So if that's a little easier for you, or you're just searching for magic products, we'll hopefully be able to find us on there as well. And we would be just shameful if we didn't talk about abyssproxyshop.com. If you use code CMD Tower, please, people, stop calling it Command Tower. It's not CMD Tower. It's been 3 years. CMD Charlie Malthus Davis Tower. But they're an awesome store. That's where I personally get all my playtest cards or proxies, however you want to call them. But they're even going to do a little giveaway with us. So me and Tucker are going to brainstorm some cool ideas, and be sure to check out at CMD Tower on Twitter to see that giveaway. But seriously, guys, every order you do with them does directly help our channel. And it's like $3 to $6, depending if you want non-foil to foil. And there are thousands of pieces of art. And we do this every week. Tuck, what's the cart?
93.
Damn it.
Not quite yet, sir.
We need what? 4? We need 3 more cards.
I need 3 more, maybe, depending on the discounts that we put in.
Yeah. So close. So close.
So close.
Now, guys, you were here for a Theory Craft Savra, the Queen of Solitaire. Now, Tuck, do you feel like we accomplished the solitaire portion?
Absolutely. Like I said, this is the MrCombo deck through and through. I think, like, regardless of how we came across it, I think this is still going to be a slam dunk deck for you. I've played against, like I said, I played against it in the past. It's very difficult, especially for me that runs a lot of creatures and doesn't like to think and just likes to turn things sideways. So I'm more interested into hearing, do you feel like you can turn your Hydra deck into this like relatively easily?
Well, I would say this, that Pelucranos deck does have the, I'm going to say 40, no, that's a little high. Let's call it 20 to 25 standards in Golgari. So your Bayous of the World, yeah. Shockland, probably the mana rocks that I need. I think I have like Shieldred in there. That's a pretty standard Golgari type card. I probably have like Poison Tip Archer in there. That's a pretty standard card.
Sure.
So I think I have a lot of the basics in there. I think what I'm going to end up having to do is just fluff it up with the more Savra specific stuff. Like, no way I have Tenacious Underdog, Killer Service, Nether Trader, Champion of Stray Souls. I got none of that stuff. So there are going to be cards that I am going to have to acquire in here. But I think I could probably build this thing for $50 to $75. And I mean, I even got that Urza's Saga Sneak Attack that I had to get for the partner non-partner. Maybe I could find someone that'll just trade me like the 10, 15 cards I need for just that, because I think that card alone is like $40, $50. So
you're not holding on to that? Come on.
No, I have no use for Sneak Attack. I have no interest in Sneak Attack. It's a boring card for me.
What a blowout. What a blowout.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. And as always, be greasy.
Grease it.
Oh.